7. The crew finally finishes loading, but they're too late. The Herald will not depart on schedule tonight. Lee Cornelius places the safety chain across the bow doors. First Officer Sable tells Captain Lurie that loading is complete.
Okay, loading complete. Copy that.
Then he heads for his position on the bridge.
Stations, all stations. Herald, a free enterprise about to leave the harbour, proceeding outwards.
The announcement, Harbour Stations, calls crew members to their posts for departure. Lee Cornelius leaves the car deck to report to his station. "6:05 p.m. Captain Lurie starts up the ship's 3 9,000 horsepower engines. They're 5 minutes late. But weather reports say the channel is calm with only a light wind. He might be able to make up the time on the crossing. Michael and Maureen Bennett go to the restaurant on sea deck to grab a bite to eat. Spirits are high among the homeward bound passengers.
It was a happy atmosphere on board. It was, everybody had enjoyed themselves.
Their daughter Teresa and her boyfriend are also on sea deck, relaxing in the lounge area.
We got a drink. We just sat talking about the crossing back. I don't really like travelling on boats, so it's quite a big thing for me to travel out there anyway.
The Herald steams out of Zeebrugge Harbour. She's now heading out into the icy waters of the North Sea. 19-year-old Simon Osborne leaves his friends in the cafeteria. He goes to the perfume counter on sea deck to buy a gift for his girlfriend. 6:24 p.m. As the ship approaches the outer harbour, Captain Lurie accelerates up to 18 knots, the maximum speed permitted. There's a party atmosphere among the homeward-bound passengers. Then, out of the blue, the ship lurches violently, throwing Simon Osborne off balance.
Very suddenly there was a jolt, and the woman turned round and kind of stared at me and started screaming.
In the cafeteria, people think nothing of it. Government worker Michael Reynolds recalls the scene.
You heard the odd person say, "Cheers," with a typical British sense of humour.
The ship stabilizes, and everything returns to normal. The passengers go back to having fun. But down below, on the ship's car deck, something is terribly wrong. Just over a kilometre outside Zeebrugge Harbour, something is desperately wrong on the Townsend Torreson ship, the Herald of Free Enterprise. The Herald starts to veer off course. Captain Lurie wrestles with the controls, but she's not responding. Then on E-deck, the lower car deck, a crew member alerts one of the assistant pursers. There's a big problem. Water. Vast amounts of it pour down the stairs from the upper car deck. The purser races up the stairs to sea deck, where there's a radio. He desperately tries to call the bridge, but there's no response. "6:28 p.m. Now, a massive jolt. This time the ship tilts a full 30 degrees to the left. Before Captain Lurie can issue a mayday call, the tilting ship throws him to the floor. The fall knocks him unconscious. As the ship tilts, English couple Michael and Maureen Bennett struggle to hold onto their table in the cafeteria.
The sensation you get is like somebody's pulling the rug from underneath you. You can't get any foothold, you can't hold on to anything.
The 8,000-ton ship now starts to roll over. 19-year-old Simon Osborne loses his footing.
I was sliding down. It was as if literally the world had been turned upside down.
The only thing that was stopping me from going over, because the tables were strapped to the floor. If the tables had shifted, I would have gone.
As the Herald of Free Enterprise capsizes, there's a terrible grinding noise. Now the seawater breaks through the ship's portholes.
I was standing there, rooted to the spot, staring at this wall of white water coming towards me. And I thought then, you're going to die. The ship's sinking, and you're going to die.
Thousands of tons of water gush into the ship under huge pressure.
It's just like having a fire hose fitted on you, really. It just pushed you back up the boat.
Michael Bennett's wife Maureen can't swim. He's desperately trying to keep her head above water. But the rushing torrent makes it harder and harder for Michael to keep his grip.
I really, really panicked. I just panicked. I knew I was going to die.
I had Maureen, my hand on her bra and her clothes, holding on tight to her. And that's the only way I could keep hold of her until that water had settled down. Otherwise, she would have been gone.
The ferry's entire left side sinks into the North Sea, leaving only its right flank visible above the water. In a stroke of luck, the ship comes to rest on a sandbank. The sandbank stops it from sinking further, at least for now. At the edge of the harbour, the Belgian vessel Sanderus dredges the shipping channel. She's about 1 kilometre from the Herald. Her crew sees the bright lights of the Herald flicker and then go out. They radio Zeebrugge port controller Guido de Ruder. De Ruder immediately issues a mayday, requesting all nearby boats to rush to the aid of the stricken ship. Andre Papp is the skipper of the tugboat Seahorse. As soon as he receives the port controller's call, he and his crew rush to the ferry. Inside the flooded Herald, more than 500 passengers and crew fight for survival. A dazed Michael Bennett struggles to keep his wife Maureen afloat in the freezing water. The Bennett's daughter Teresa finds herself alone in another part of the ship. Her leather coat fills with air and acts like a makeshift life jacket. But now, people struggling in the water below her try to grab her to stay afloat.
You could feel people holding onto your coat, holding onto your trousers, and literally trying to climb over you.
If the tables had shifted, I would have gone.
As the Herald of Free Enterprise capsizes, there's a terrible grinding noise. Now the seawater breaks through the ship's portholes.
I was standing there, rooted to the spot, staring at this wall of white water coming towards me. And I thought then, you're going to die. The ship's sinking, and you're going to die.
Thousands of tons of water gush into the ship under huge pressure.
It's just like having a fire hose fitted on you, really. It just pushed you back up the boat.
Michael Bennett's wife Maureen can't swim. He's desperately trying to keep her head above water. But the rushing torrent makes it harder and harder for Michael to keep his grip.
I really, really panicked. I just panicked. I knew I was going to die.